Everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. Today's video is going to be a little bit different in that I actually recorded the video of what I'm going to show you and share with you about a week ago, and actually it was going to be a part of another video I just published yesterday, but it got to be too long of a video, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to save today's video for its very own video. So that's kind of what today's about. You're going to see a wardrobe change because I needed to explain to you all kind of what you're going to see and do a different introduction. So you're going to see me in this hoodie, and then you're going to see me in a different colored sweater when we really get to what I want to share with you today. So today's project is a perfect snowy day project or freezing cold day project for those of us that garden in a zone 6 like I do and colder. We had loads of snow on the ground a week ago. The sun came out in the last couple of days and the snow has melted. However, we are going to get another snowstorm this week and really bitterly cold. It's going to be below zero for the actual temperature. Wind chills are going to be in maybe the negative teens, negative 20s. So, you know, for those of you that are stuck inside in the winter, but you're itching to get started on gardening, today's project is something you might want to consider. A great way to spend your time as you're dreaming about the 2025 gardening season. Before we jump in today's project, I just want to ask all of you to please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. It's a way for me to grow my gardening channel and to reach out to more gardeners like you. I really am wanting to form a community. That's what I love about some of these YouTube gardening channels. It does really feel like a community. Gardeners, man, we're just some amazing people, aren't we? I mean, I have found you all to be so kind and so helpful and willing to share your successes and your struggles and your ideas. And that's what today's video is all about. I'm going to show you all how I transform brand new bright and shiny red clay pots into old looking clay pots because that's just what I prefer. Couple of things I want to add to this introduction before I finally take you inside the house and show you the process for how you do that is I wanted to let you know a couple of things. First of all, clay pots are porous, meaning they're very breathable. They're great for growing a lot of things like having a clay pot around them because it allows oxygen to better quickly reach the roots. But the bad thing about clay pots, because they're porous, is that the saucers aren't sealed. Most of the time when you buy clay pots, at least the inexpensive ones that I like to buy, the little drip trays or the saucers are not sealed. And so if you all plan to use clay pots inside your home and you're going to put them on a saucer and put them on furniture or whatever, and you want to protect that furniture, you need to either purchase saucers that are sealed, they're painted with a coating that doesn't let that moisture get onto your furniture, or you can actually seal them yourself. And you know, I haven't sealed these because I don't plan to use these inside my house. I use them out in the greenhouse or I give them as gifts, warning my friends, you know, that this is something best used outside. So I'll try to put a link in the description below with the product that you can purchase that actually you can paint the inside of your saucers to make them waterproof. Right, so I put some pots out here so that you all can really see the difference between after they're first painted up, like I'm going to show you here in just a minute. You can use a little bit of sandpaper around the edges of the pot, the sides, to give them more of a patina. And then take a look at this little stack of pots that I don't have anything in right now. So do you see how that looks more aged? Because I've been using these for a couple years and I actually really like that look. And then if we swing around here, you can see all my beautiful geraniums and the pots that they're in. And so, yeah, I thought that might be helpful for you all to see over time how you can take them from bright red, brand new, to this, and then eventually as you're watering your plants, the soils in those clay pots, it's going to make them look even better. I need to tackle today. So I wanted to bring you along and show you how I transform these traditional kind of newish looking red clay pots into an antique version of that. I've been doing this method for, oh gosh, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now, and it could not be simpler. And I am not the craftiest person, let me just say. So if I can do this, you can do this. So here's all we're going to need. We're going to need the clay pots. We're going to need the little saucers that came with them. We're going to need some chalk paint, white chalk paint. You can get this at any craft store like a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby or something like that. It's not very expensive at all, and a little goes a long way. I've got some water because I dilute this paint, and I'm going to show you how I do that in a minute. And I've got this this is actually supposed to be like a stippling brush or, oh gosh, not decals. What's the word I want to use? It's a stamping kind of paintbrush. Anyways, doesn't really matter what you use. You can use any kind of paintbrush you have. You could use an old rag to apply the paint. So it doesn't really matter. There are no hard and fast rules in terms of how much paint I use versus water. Honestly, I just experiment till I get it the way I want it. So, all right, so let's start with, I've got a little bowl here. I'm just going to pour in some of this chalk paint. So we're just going to pour that down in the bowl. It does not take much to coat these. Remember, whoops, clay pots are porous, meaning they're going to soak up this paint. So we've got that. And now you can see I'm going to just pour in. I have no idea how much water. I'm just going to pour in like a tablespoon at a time. I'm going to use my paintbrush here, and I'm just going to stir it in. I mean, start out with just a little bit of water at a time, for sure. Stir this around. Can you see that? How that is dripping right off. You want it to drip. You want it to be loose. Just like so. All right, well, let's start out with, instead of the actual pots, let's just start out with the saucers. And so what I like to do is I'm going to start on the back of the saucer first. And I am just going to quickly, I mean really quickly coat it. Remember, clay pots are porous, meaning they're going to soak up this paint. So even though it might look right now like it's on there really thick, once it dries, it's not going to look nearly as thick. So I'm just going to do it like this, and then I'm just going to paint the inside. And I don't care if the paint comes off the bottom. No one looks at the bottom of my saucer. So I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to just quickly brush this around. And you don't have to fully coat your saucers or your pots. You want some of that red clay to show through. So that's it. That's all you do. And then get it out of the way there and let it dry. So I know I get a lot of questions from people about, why do you grow so much stuff? You're empty nesters, and, it's just you and your husband. Why do you grow so many vegetables and so many flowers? Well, those of you that haven't followed me before, I garden on 10 acres. So I have lots of places to grow things. But really and truly, when it comes to something like growing lots of flowers, recently I showed you my geranium seedlings. I'm growing almost 50 beautiful salmon-colored geraniums because I'm going to use probably half of those in my own home garden, whether it be in containers or in the landscape. But I also love to gift things. I love to grow things from seed and give them to my friends as gifts. I mean, there's just nothing better than sharing your bounty. And I don't know many people that I've met that don't appreciate somebody giving them a beautiful plant that they have nurtured from a teeny tiny seed into a full grown, beautiful flower or vegetable plant. So these particular clay pots are very affordable. In fact, I think I got these online because even though they're pretty affordable at the big box stores, I wanted to see if I could find an even more cost saving variety. And so I thought I'll just check on Amazon and see if I can get a really good price. And I did. I can't tell you right now. I bought these last fall, so I'm not sure what I paid, but it wasn't very much at all. And so having said that, these, whoops, I can't talk and paint at the same time, obviously. Wanted to paint the bottom first, but anyhow, so the idea behind investing in some very affordable little sweet pots and saucers like this is that when I do pot up some of my beautiful flowers to grow on and give as gifts, you know, I haven't spent a lot of money, a big investment on the pots, and I can give these away as gifts. Okay, funny thing, ordered on Amazon. You know, Amazon, do you ever order things from Amazon and you look really closely at all the specifications and you think you're ordering the right thing? And I think I did. But when I went to unwrap this order, I ordered 4 pots, which I got, 4 saucers that come with the pots. And then on the top of the package, and it was wrapped with heavy duty tape and other things, packing material, there were 2 extra saucers. And these saucers, let me pull this one up. If you can tell, they're bigger than these. But the great news is I'll take these 2 free saucers because you can use, you know, always use extra saucers for sure around the garden and in the greenhouse. So I am not complaining that they ended up giving me 6 saucers and 4 pots when I definitely only ordered 4 pots. So I'll take the extra saucers anytime because, you know, not only is clay porous, it is fragile. And, you know, so, you know, it's possible I might drop and break some of my clay pots. And so I've got some backup saucers that I can use. Okay. Almost done with the saucers. All right, so let's move on to the pots. And these are 4-inch clay pots. They have a pre-drilled hole in the bottom. And you know that any container, especially outdoor containers or greenhouse containers, need proper drainage. And the way that you achieve that is through a drainage hole. And they've got them. So when you are trying to source pots, for the landscape or outside or in your greenhouse, you want to make sure they have holes. And if they don't have holes, depending upon what they're made of, you can actually drill holes down in there. So, all right, same thing, kind of like with the saucers. I like to paint the bottom of the pot first, then the sides, and then you're going to see me paint about 2 inches down inside the lip of the pot, because once it's filled with soil, you won't see the red clay. But I am going to paint it just a little bit. So I'm going to just do that for the rest of the 4, and you will be able to see how absolutely fast this goes. Could not be easier. Again, you don't have to perfectly cover every inch of the clay at all. You want them to look, or I want them to look rustic and aged and not perfect. So that's a great kind of a DIY project for me, is they don't have to be perfect by any means. Okay, so here's the last step I want to just show you. I am going to turn it on its side and I am going to paint the interior just an inch or 2 down from the lip so that when it's filled with soil, you're not going to see bright red clay underneath. Could not be easier. I know I say that a lot, don't I? But it really is easy, and I like easy. I mean, gosh, why make things harder than they need to be? All right. That's done. I'm going to put this over here to dry, And then I'm going to get on to the other 3, and then we'll wrap up our garden time together today. And transforming my brand new shiny red clay pots into what I prefer, a more aged look, with such a simple little DIY trick of using some chalk, watered down chalk paint. Could not be faster, I think, to do all of the saucers, the 6 saucers and 4 pots. I probably spent a max of 10 minutes, and that was talking to you and filming. It really goes so quickly. Anyhow, as always, I just want to thank you all so much for supporting my channel and hanging out with me on Garden Time with Belle. And until next time, I wish you all happy gardening.